Hi, everybody, and welcome to Baseball King Collectibles. I am your host, the Baseball King, and I will be sharing my journey into collecting with all you guys, how I started, how I went through it all, where I wound up now, and everything in between. So, we're going to have a great time looking back at all my stories, how I started in the collecting. We're going to go through my autographs of baseball players, celebrities also, and every celebrity I got is an in-person celebrity autograph. So we're gonna take you through those amazing stories, my baseball stories, how I met so many players. I met Mariano Rivera. I went to Whitey Ford's house. I went to Lenny Dykstra's house, just to name a few. I can go on and on, but that's for the videos to show. So, without further ado, let's just get into it. And enough of me. So you want to see what I got? Oh, by the way, I know you're trying to peek over my shoulder here and see what's going on. So before I do that, we'll show you what's going on behind my shoulder, so you don't have to. What is that? What? I'll zoom in and all that. So We'll get to everything. Just trust me. We will get to everything. It's gonna be a long journey. Please stay with me. I know this is my first video. I know my lighting's not the greatest. I know my voice isn't the greatest. I know I'm not the best YouTuber ever, but I'm doing this journey because for me, people ask me many times, when are we going to see a collection? Where am I going to see it? Come on over, come on over. You can be here for days and not see all my collection. So it's going to take me quite a while to get everything documented on video. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to document my journey on video. And what better way to do it than on YouTube and sharing it with you guys and passing along my stories, my knowledge, and my scams. I got scammed a couple of times too along the way, so it happens. It happens to everybody. So the good stories, the bad stories, and everything in between. And let's go. From where do we start? Well, what better place to start than from the beginning? Here's what you were trying to see that was over my shoulder. Here, we'll give you a quick look around. I like the Hall of Famers, of course. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? These are some of my baseball autograph, one of my favorites. Some of my favorite baseball cards I got on display. Of course, Mickey Mantle was my favorite and still is my favorite and always will be my favorite. And there, as you can see, is a nice Roger Maris autograph card. That's top of my collection. With the Nolan Ryan rookie card, of course, I have two of those. So that's just one on display. And we also have coming around here. Me and my daughter got this in 1996 when the Olympics were going on. So this was all of them. Me and my daughter got all these autographs. She got them all, I should say. I was just along for the ride. And she was the one who collected this. So thanks, Jess, for doing that. What does the 1963-1964 Yankee Yearbook, a Mickey Mantle 1963 baseball card, a index card signed by two former New York Giant football players, and a magazine signed by none other than the man in black, Johnny Cash. What could they possibly have in common? Okay, let's start with the two yearbooks, the 1963 revised Yankee Yearbook and the 1964 Yankee Yearbook. Okay, how did I get this 1963 yearbook? Well, this was my first collectible, the first thing I ever had a collection of, and it happened to be the 1963 yearbook. So how did I get it? I lived next door to a neighbor of mine. His name was Michael Verona. He was about 8 years older than me. Okay, so he took me into a basement. He had a basement, not apartment, but just a cellar basically, where he had all his collectibles. All right, and then happened to be just all Yankee stuff. So right away, I'm hooked on Yankees, and I was already a kind of Yankee fan, but my father and brother were Met fans, so I was kind of being swayed. But he took me in his basement and all the collectibles, and I was just my jaw dropped. And he said, "Hey, I'll give you this yearbook," and he gave me this 1963 Yankee yearbook, which I still treasure today. From move to move to move to move, I moved several times. It stayed its course. It's in really pretty good shape considering you know, the year. But value wise, it's not really worth much. You would think this is worth $100, $200. No, it's not. The value is meaningless to anybody but me. All right, it's all it's worth is worth to me. Same with the '64 yearbook. This was the first yearbook that I ever received. That I ever purchased at a ballpark. 1964. Went to the game. Had to get a Yankee yearbook because I had the 63, so I had to get the 64. So this was the start of my memorabilia collecting, and that's how my memorabilia all started. All right. Now, let's take a look. Where is the mantle card? I put it on the side. Here it is, right here. My next collectible, of course, let's get this out of the way, was this Mickey Mantle 1963 Mickey Mantle card. Now, it wasn't my first card I ever got, but the 1963 season was the first year I started collecting baseball cards. All right, so that was the first set of cards I ever got. Did they stay in my house? No, they didn't. They didn't make it from move to move. But I did save on to the better cards, such as Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays and all those guys. So I do have the star cards, but I don't have the set. All right, so that's how I started baseball card collecting. And that was my first set that I loved, that first set. So let's get on to these two little index cards. What they mean to me. I'll tell you the story behind it. I was growing up apartment building, and a bunch of kids, at least 15 of us, 20 of us maybe, all within a 2-3 year age of us. So we always had a game going on. We always had something going on. There was always something in the building going on sports-wise. Punch ball, stick ball, basketball, hockey, everything. You name it. We played it all. Roller skating, you name it. But there was one kid, his name was Harvey White, and he was the bully. Well, back then we had bullies, and he was not a real bad bully, but he didn't play sports. He didn't like when we played sports, so he tried to bust up the game or try to break up the game. He wouldn't, because he didn't want to play. So anyway, one day, he comes out with a newspaper clipping and a baseball of Johnny Blanchard, signed Johnny Blanchard from the New York Yankees. He was the catcher, backup outfielder at the time in the early 60s. And he also had a picture of himself in the Daily News. And I was like, oh my God, this guy has a picture that I would love to have, a ball I would love to have, but nope, I got nothing. So he's got it. I was so jealous, and that just was a solid memory of something I didn't have, but I'd love to have. And sure enough, my collecting days were about to begin, as about a year later, 1965 or so, 1966, I went shopping with my parents at Sears, the old Sears, on Flatbush Avenue. I think it was Bedford Avenue, Nostrand, somewhere around there, down in Brooklyn, East Flatbush maybe. I'm not really sure exactly. But anyway, we were in the TV department looking at the TVs. The color TVs was like, wow, who had a color TV back then, but we always went to that section, stood there for 20 minutes and gawked and, hoped and prayed we'd get one day, but, we didn't for years later. Anyway, we're walking through the aisles, and sure enough, there's two football players sitting at a table signing autographs. Who are they? I don't know. I was 9 years old maybe. I wasn't into football yet, really. I was just starting to watch it, didn't understand too much of it yet. My love was baseball. But I got these two autographs. One is Best of Luck, Bobby Crispino, number 89. And this one is Best Wishes, Bookie Bolin, number 63, New York Giants. I would say this is 1965. It could be 66. They both played in those same years. Crispino was a pretty good player, by the way. He was drafted first round, number 10 pick by I believe it was by the Oakland Raiders. I think so. Yeah, it was Oakland Raiders. And he had a good career. He was a number 10 tight end, number 10 pick overall. Bookie Bolin was a later round draft pick, and he bounced around the league for about 5-6 years. He was okay. I think he was an offensive guard. Had a nice career, but probably injuries took him down. But Bookie, wow. Imagine having the name Bookie now with all the sports betting going on in the world, and every game is that, and this guy's name is Bookie? Oh boy, that would have been a problem. So he would have had to change that name quickly, or otherwise we'd be calling Bookie for place our bets instead of FanDuel. So anyway, that's how I got those. These were my first two autographs, absolutely. And then it took me a while. I stayed with baseball cards. I stayed into the cards. That's all I did now, because I was, how old was I? Where was I going to get autographs from? So baseball cards became my love. Late 60s, mid 60s to late 60s to about 1970. And then I stopped collecting. Why? Because, I went into middle school, and it was not cool. You don't collect baseball cards in middle school, if you're trying to get a girl or anything like that. And you just don't. So I didn't. And I didn't get back into baseball card collecting until about 1981 again, or 1980, I would say. And I'll tell you that story for another day. But getting to the fourth and final piece, it's Johnny Cash, the man in black himself. How the heck did I get Johnny Cash's autograph? Wow. It's a pretty good one, huh? For my first autograph, my first in-person autograph, Johnny Cash, the legend himself. Okay, this is how I obtained it. Friend of mine, James, we were baseball collecting at Shea Stadium for many years, and he just came running off the train. He goes, "I just got Stallone. I just got Stallone." I go, "Where'd you get Stallone at?" He goes, "Oh, David Letterman show. You got to go there. It's so easy, man. Nobody's there. You just sit there. You get autographs. Anybody's there. It's just they sign. Nobody's around. Anybody you want." I said, "All right. We'll see who's on the next couple of shows. Maybe I'll go. I'll take a ride down there with you." Sure enough, he says, "Johnny Cash is on time. I'm going for Johnny Cash. I got to go." So I said, "All right, you know what? I got this magazine in my house that I was Autograph Collector magazine. Of course, I was a subscriber to this magazine. And I brought it with me. I said, I had nothing else to sign. I didn't know even where to buy a photo of Johnny Cash. I didn't know anything about, collecting in person. And I never had a celebrity autograph before. So we got down there. You had to get there early for the musical guests. They would show up at about 3 o'clock for the 5 o'clock start, the taping, and they would show up about 3 for a little rehearsal, 2:30 even sometimes. So I was there, like, I think about 2 o'clock. I got there early. I made sure I was not going to miss Johnny Cash. And we wait and wait and wait. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Disappointment, disappointment. You're waiting around. There's nobody coming. Sure enough, here comes the limo. Out pops Johnny Cash. It's like, oh my God, there's no one there. Me and James and nobody. The greeter to help him into the show and guide him, where to go. So, "Mr. Cash, can you sign?" "Sure, sure, no problem, no problem." And he signed. Beautiful, nice signature, Johnny Cash, certified JSA. That's my certification. And I have a letter of certification with it also. This was my very first celebrity autograph, so it means a lot to me. So this is how we tie everything together. Bookie Bolin, Bobby Crispino, Mickey Mantle, and a couple of Yankee yearbooks. And that's how I started. This is how this all started, the collecting, and I'm still going today. Collecting does not stop. Not to the scale it was on, of course, but still having a lot of fun. And do me a favor. You like this? Please subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. Hit the bell. Hit the subscribe. Do all that stuff that you kids know how to do. But I'm just getting new to this, so do me a favor. Do that. It's all I ask. Nothing else. Because this is my journey, and I want you to come along with it. And I want you to enjoy it. And I want you to enjoy my stories. And I think you will. So, with that said, we'll see you soon.